Boris Johnson has until June 30 to extend the transition period but is gallantly refusing to do so beyond the end of this year, despite the COVID-19 outbreak inflicting chaos on the bloc and Brexit talks virtually grounding to a halt. There is now mounting pressure on European Union leaders to agree a comprehensive free trade agreement over the coming months, with the prospect of a no-deal growing ever stronger. Fears are also growing among politicians in Europe believe failing to reach an agreement would be disastrous for the EU, with the bloc already heading for financial turmoil. The coronavirus pandemic continuing to sweep through Europe has further intensified concerns over the Eurozone, which was already under huge strain even before the deadly virus hit. The head of the European Central Bank Christine Lagarde warned EU leaders on Thursday that in a worst-case scenario, the Eurozone could shrink by as much as 15% this year against 2019, according to an official close to the matter. Political experts fear the Eurozone's vulnerable position may edge EU leaders to shake hands with the UK on their terms because of the long-term catastrophic consequences of a no-deal Brexit. Now thousands of Express.co.uk have agreed, arguing the EU will be forced to cave in and could even collapse as a result regardless. The latest poll, which ran from 2 p.m. until 10 p.m. on Thursday, April 23, asked, "Do you think the EU will cave on UK demands over no-deal threat?" This saw 4,123 votes cast, with 76%, 3,119 readers, believing Brussels will cave into the demands from Britain. Just 22%, 902 readers, disagreed, while 2%, 102 readers, were undecided. Express.co.uk readers lashed out at the under-fire EU, raging the bloc will have no choice but to accept terms from the UK. One person said, "We have always had the upper hand with the EU, with them having a trade surplus with us of £100 billion annually. It was just the Remoaners and Project Fear and the MPs on the gravy train selling out their country. Germany must have a deal or they are finished. The EU will collapse shortly anyway, so we can then deal with each country separately if Merkel doesn't force them into a tariff-free agreement, which she knows is the best outcome for Germany. Keep the pressure on Boris. It is just a matter of a few months, then they will come cap in hand." A second reader commented, "The EU has a choice, either give in and accept our requests or we leave with no deal at all." Another person said, "The EU has not shown any pragmatism or common sense to date. It will continue to try to bully to its own bitter end and collapse as a result." A fourth Express.co.uk reader wrote, "This time around, we have the resolve to leave without a deal and the implications it has for the EU. Bearing in mind the EU has a massive trading surplus with us, who will this hit hardest?" Another person simply said, "The EU is a dead club walking." Earlier this month, the Eurozone suffered the biggest falls in employment and activity on record as pressure grows from the financial fallout from the coronavirus pandemic. The IHS Markit Composite Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, a closely watched gauge of activity, plunged to 13.5, the lowest score since records began over 2 decades ago. The latest reading was less than half last month's score of 29.7, which was itself a record low. A score of under 50 indicates contraction. Britain is facing a huge recession of its own from the billions of pounds being spent in the face of the coronavirus pandemic. But former Bank of England Governor Lord Mervyn King explained why the UK now finds itself with a significant advantage over the EU. He told Sky News, "What we can take comfort from here, I think, is that the Bank of England and the government are working very closely together. That is not something they have created in the euro area. They failed to create a fiscal union.